Part two. Part two of Is Your Man Picker Broken? Do you ever find yourself looking at somebody across the table and going, I did it again. I have the same person in front of me. He looks different, he sounds different, he has a different name, and what's wrong with me? All right, so that was part one. Part one was last week. If you missed it, you can go back on Facebook Live in the Find Fabulous Love group, or you can go back into the Instagram. And so this is part two. We're going to do this for 5 weeks because it's just not an easy thing. It's just not an easy thing to just update your man picker, because there's different pieces to this puzzle, and it is a puzzle, and we would like to shine a light on what this is about. Why do we find ourselves recreating the same scenarios over and over? Why do you find yourself in the same pattern? So last week we talked about that. We talked about the patterns. We talked about decades of experiences and heartbreak and patterns from your childhood, and how familiar some of these people in your present life seem to, like your mom or your dad. I know I married my mother. My mother, when I was younger, she was a big control freak, and she was very fear-based and trying to control everything, and I felt like, I was like, I'm a free spirit. But she wanted me to follow the rules and jump through certain hoops, and I took that into my marriage, and I found someone who was very similar in controlling energy. I needed to heal that with my mom. And so that's one reason why we pick certain people, and we talked about that last week. And last week we also talked about having compassion. Take a breath into that, sister. Having compassion and gentleness for yourself, that sometimes you're actually picking people because there's a part inside of you that's just wanting to heal some of the things that went down in the past that you haven't healed yet. And so you might be thinking something's wrong with you or that you're broken, but I promise you, you're not. There's just some cleaning up to do. And so I want to talk to you today about tapping into that part of you that's assessing risk. I call it the risk manager. And in my Love-a-thon, some of you know my 7-day training's coming up in October. We'll put the link in the comments in a few minutes about, we're going to be diving into these very topics of what's inside of you that's calling the shots, and how to actually heal and shift and change so that you don't keep recreating the same patterns over and over. How about that? Would you like to do that? Would you like to actually find someone that's different than what you've done in the past? Well, let's talk about this part inside of you right now, which is called the risk manager. Okay, there's a part inside of you that is looking and watching and is very aware of all the things that have gone down. This part of you has been online probably at a very young age, maybe in the womb. Bottom line is, there's a part inside of you that just doesn't want you to fall down the same rabbit hole, doesn't want you to get hurt again. So you might be saying, well, if it's trying to keep me from having the same patterns and doing the same thing and getting hurt again, why do I keep finding the same person? That's a really good question to ask. And so let me ask you a question. Might your risk manager be concerned about trying something new? If you've had heartbreak in the past, if you've been betrayed, if you've been left, if you have felt your heart crushed. Anybody here feel you've had your heart crushed? I know I have. Ouch. That risk manager is going to be watching to make sure that you don't have it happen again. But here's the thing. Your risk manager doesn't like mystery. Your risk manager doesn't like the unknown. In fact, if it's concerned that you're going to get hurt, it just might have you picking the same person because you know the territory. Because there's a part of you on some level that might be thinking, well, I am familiar with this kind of abuse. I'm familiar with not getting my needs met. I'm familiar with not having somebody that can really hold the space for me and connect with me deeply. All right, I'll do it again. And sister, this isn't going on in your conscious mind. This is going on back here. And so here you are going, I did it again. What's wrong with me? And what I'm offering to you is 95% of your brain is unconscious, and it's running your show. So take a breath into that. Have some compassion for yourself that there's a part of you that you're not aware of. But now you are. Now you are. Now you have the awareness that there's a part that's very uncomfortable about changing things up. And when you get to befriend this risk manager, when you are able to go, I'm scared. I'm scared that I'm going to be in another relationship where my needs aren't going to be met. And you can go inside of yourself and love yourself up in that way and go, okay, wait a second. Yeah, that hurt. I don't want to do that again. That's the beginning of changing your man picker. Being able to connect to yourself, being able to love yourself up, being able to be in tune with what's going on in your heart and your mind and wanting something different. That starts to update your risk manager. It starts to update how you choose people because you're going to have a different information inside of yourself. Those emotions will inform you of should I or shouldn't I. I mean, we're going to spend a shit ton more time on this in the Love-a-thon. We spend a whole hour on shifting the risk manager and that part of you that's concerned about what's going to happen if. For now, last week, compassion, and realize that there's a lot going on behind closed doors that's having you act in certain ways because it's familiar. And today, I'm going to invite you to start to connect to that part that has concern that you might do it again. And to sit with that fear and to journal about what might happen if things change. What might happen if I have somebody that actually meets my needs? How about that? What might happen if I actually have somebody that's really showing up for me and holding the space for me? And I can guarantee you're going to have some concerns about having the very thing you want. That's what's happening. Your risk manager is calling the shots and trying to do the best it can so that you don't fall down the rabbit hole into something else that's scary and painful and hurtful. So it's tricky. It's really tricky. That's why in my Midlife Love Mastery program, that's a year journey where we're pulling back the layers and the covers of what is the wiring that you've picked up all along the way that has you believing you can't have love, having you believe that you're a man picker, you're never going to find somebody that can really show up for you. I'm really excited. I actually met somebody on Bumble. I'm just playing right now. I'm just dabbling. I just recently shifted my partnership, and I just decided I'm going to go on Bumble for a little bit, and I have this really awesome call I'm excited about later. And I'm not scared. I'm curious. I'm not scared, and you want to know why? Because I connect to my risk manager on a regular basis. And if I'm starting to feel fear, I don't just push it away. I go, what's the concern here? Oh, you're concerned, risk manager, you're concerned that I'm just going to jump right in? I'm not jumping right in. I need some time. I need to get to know this person. I'm going to take really good care of myself. So no worries. No worries. But risk manager, keep an eye on this person. Let me know if this is a good fit or not. Or is this the old pattern that's comfortable? So this is about bringing awareness into what's going on right here, right now, so that you could choose differently. And again, I invite you to just do baby steps. Baby steps. There's something to be said about having a mentor like myself that's guiding you on a regular basis. For you right now with me in a video, I just want you to be able to get some traction, some movement. And I really hope you join me for the Love-a-thon because it's such a blast. I have thousands of dollars worth of prizes, and you're going to learn a ton and meet some great sisters. But for now, sister, I invite you to do some journaling. What's at risk if I actually get what I want? Make a list of all the things you want. And then slow down and connect to your heart. And if you're scared, listen to what the fear is, because that fear can guide you. That fear can give you some information and direct you to what's the next best step. So this is part 2. Next week, we're going to dive into the self-esteem thing, right? Like the worthiness thing, like who's going to really want me? I'm older, my boobs aren't perky anymore, whatever, fill in the blank of anything that you feel bad about, that not good enough-itis. So next week we're going to talk about that not good enough-itis, because guess what, sister? If you have not good enough-itis running inside of you, that's going to affect your man picker. We'll talk about that next week. Meanwhile, I'll put the Love-a-thon link in the comments for those of you on I always want to say Twitter, but I'm not even on Twitter. Well, I am, but here I am on Instagram. For those of you on Instagram, you could actually find the Love-a-thon information in the link tree. And that's it for today. Put a comment. Let me know if this resonated with you. Let me know some of your concerns or risks. Maybe even lean in and let me know one of your patterns. I'd love to hear what's going on with your man picker and how you'd like to change it, and I will support you. So leave a comment, give me a thumbs up, share it with your girlfriends, and that's it for today. Mwah! See you next week for part 3. There you go.